Welcome. This is day 2 of Ignite Your Soul Connection, season 8. Man, we had such a great time last night, and I'm so glad that you're joining us again tonight. My name is Shemsu-t. I am the facilitator for this amazing dialogue that we're having with the coaches this week. We're talking about coaching for the soul. Now, the reason this is season 8 is because we actually started producing this work for our community in December of 2010. And we've been offering it as a gift so that people can really get close to themselves and learn what it is to do soul work. We don't know anyone else who's doing this work with us because we certainly have been missing it. And we're grateful. Let me say that. We're grateful to have a community of people to grow with that challenge us and bring us forward in this effort. So I want to actually dedicate, that's what the word is. I want to dedicate this season show to two of the women that helped start Master Force back in the early 1990s. And that would be Catherine Winston and Angela Stewart. And I refer to them as Ma'at Shrita and Akaharit. We were 3 mothers, single parents, who actually put together a Wednesday night program to teach our sons meditation and actually prayer and other different spiritual acumens to help them as they were living out in the suburbs of Schaumburg. So it was really an opportunity to grow ourselves as well as share with them. And so this week, we're talking about coaching for the soul, and we're actually having several of our coaches come forward and share with you their experiences, their learning, the work that they do with clients, the work that they do with themselves. And we have a specific topic each night. And we want to really make sure that you get a taste of what it is to be with us inside of doing this work. So tonight we have one of our newer coaches, and I'm really excited about how the newer coaches are jumping forward to share themselves. It's really a testament to the work that they're doing in the comfort that they have with being generous with our community. So tonight we're going to be talking about mirror work. Now, it's not the kind of mirror work that most people think where you stand in the mirror and you say your affirmations until you're good with yourself. It really is a tool for you to get the secrets of your soul so that you can look out in your life and say, oh, that's not working. Let me see what's going on with me. So we're going to do this work with Lisa. And Lisa Anderson, love Lisa. Lisa is here with us today, and she's actually going to be working in this conversation with us on what we call mirror work. So Lisa, why don't you come on in and introduce yourself and let us know a little bit about you.
Thank you. Good evening. This is Lisa Anderson. Currently, I'm living in Waukegan, Illinois. That's the northern part of Illinois by Great Lakes. Basically, my background has been working with women and girls. My professional background has been in customer service, working in behavioral health, working currently in the human resource region, business management field, and truly has been rewarding for me. What made me become a coach this year, because I am very current, certification this year, 2017. Um, I've been always desiring to help people, but I've learned through this course, through this session of lessons for myself, how to first help myself to know who I am. And that helps me to better help others, help other women, help girls, because I became more empowered and more aware and awakened to who I am. So becoming a life coach allowed a new level of me to be awakened to me. Um, the biggest difference that has taken place in my life, as I stated before, is becoming alive and awakened to who I truly am. Not who my parents have called me, my siblings, not friends or uh, business acquaintances, but I've learned who myself being is. And each course, each lesson, each week, that grew deeper and greater for me. I have awakened to levels I didn't even know existed in me. So this has truly been not only a wake-up call, but an engaging of life that has given me more joy, more passion, and I enjoy everything, everything that I've learned thus far. How I've been doing it with family and friends and clients, it has brought me to a more healthier connection, a more honest connection with myself, my family, and with friends. And it has allowed me to be the real me,
Mm.
the person that I thought I had to make people like me. But the person I am has been allowed to engage life, present life. And it has been a joy. But that's who I am.
Wow, that is really beautiful. I that just filled me up so much listening to you say that, simply because that is the basis of our work, is to really have you get present to your own joy, your own greatness,
Yes.
and to love yourself, the good, the bad, the ugly, all of that, and include it in that love and that self-love and that care. So thank you. Thank you for saying it like that.
Thank you.
Beautiful. So now, what actually had you become a life coach? Was it someone speaking to you about it, or was it something you always wanted to do? What had you actually choose being a life coach?
I met, um, I didn't know at the time she was a life coach, but I met Tammy Matthews,
Mm.
and it was in regards to some health issues that I previously had and I wanted to learn more about. And at that time, when she and I would talk, the conversation went from just health to a realm of things. And we, we connected so instantaneously that, the she awakened another part of me, that it was like, I've done this work. I didn't know it was called life coaching. I had no idea life coaches existed,
Yeah.
but to meet her, it's like, oh, a light came on. A light came on that said, you need to look into that.
Wow. Mm.
So when I looked into it and I began to watch your videos, and she talked to me about more about what she learned and what was going on with the course, I made up my mind this earlier part of spring of 2017. I'm going to get that. I'm going to get my certification because I needed to do work on me. It
Wow.
it was known that yes, I would help anyone that needed help, but I realized I need to start with me first.
Wow.
I needed to do some things a little different, and I needed to become awakened to a lot of things that I'm so thankful Master Force became a part of my life, because I'm not that person in that shell, and I'm not sitting around trying to figure out what am I really supposed to do. Now I know. Now I now can assist people, persons.
Wow. That's really awesome. And I'm sitting here thinking, I think Tammy has championed maybe at least 6 or 7 coaches. It's like, and then there's this one and this one and this one and this, and all of them are continuing to make a difference in the world.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just huge. That just speaks volumes Of course, I love Tammy, and she's from the first class. I knew her before she took this course. So I love her for just being the vibrant life giver. That's what she
Yeah.
reminds me. She's a
Yes.
life giver, you know.
Yes. Excellent words.
Yeah, so that is beautiful. So thank you, and thank you for actually seeing that this was a opportunity for you to nurture yourself.
Yes. Yes, it is. It was this, believe it or not, I felt like I was going through another birthing canal, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, I want you to know, yeah, it does make sense. And not everyone that has taken this course have made it through because it does pull up that much of a challenge. And if you don't want to loosen up some of that stuff that the ego tends to want, our ego wants to hold on to stuff,
Yes.
and it's not that we have to get rid of the ego, we have to actually integrate it. But
Yes.
to integrate it, you have to you have to tell the ego, listen, you're a spade, so you're gonna
Yes.
do things like that. So, but we're doing it like the soul would do it.
Yes.
Forget about you being all of this because we've come to grow. We've
Exactly.
not come to stay the same and in this little box. We're going beyond that. So I can hear that. So it's like a birthing process for you.
Also, I felt like I was going through my own cocoon.
Yeah.
I purposely allowed myself to go within myself.
Mm.
I allowed myself to embrace my darkness,
Yep.
which I was terrified of
Yep.
early. I was terrified of darkness. I really was. But walking in literally to the first course of Master Force, I looked at darkness as an opportunity to not necessarily be seen by everyone, but now I get to see me, the naked Lisa, and allowing myself to see the naked raw Lisa, me to appreciate everything I experienced, everything in life, the things that I felt were there to destroy me actually had a lesson for me.
Yes.
You all were the launching pad that I
Mm-hmm.
needed to say, okay, let me take off so I can soar. Because going from that first day, learning how to breathe, learning
Mm-hmm.
how to become present to who I am, it brought tears. I won't deny it.
Yeah.
Because I felt as though this is an opportunity for me to really grow. Not say that I'm growing, but actually develop now.
Yeah.
I have given tools that I can use to pull off the layers that I used as a shelter, that I used as a protection. And going through those different layers not only helped me to see what was still there, the residue, but it helped me to seek out what was your purpose for me? What is my world for? What were you showing me when you showed up? Because,
Mm.
you know, I learned a few things in life, but two things stood out. Either you made me happy or you made me sad. And
Wow.
I said, it's got to be much more to it than just.
And that you can make me anything, right?
So when I learned, especially that darkness wasn't for fear,
Mm-hmm.
but the silence of it, that I can hear myself within.
Wow.
It really it wowed me to hear my voice for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Heard my sounds before, but I actually got to hear my voice
Yeah.
this time. And yes, I cried the first few weeks. I did. But it was tears of joy and release.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was able to release so much that
Yeah.
I've been on to. And it's like, gosh, somebody actually understands where I'm been, where I'm trying to
Wow.
go, where I want to be in life. It wasn't
Mm-hmm.
about just attaining material things. It was about finding myself, finding
Mm-hmm.
who Lisa really is. And having to go back into my past, having to face what we call demons,
Mm-hmm.
not realizing that they're not demons,
Right.
they were teachers who put
Mm-hmm.
forth an opportunity for me to learn something, but
Wow.
too afraid because you came as a shadow instead of a brightness. And not realizing everything that we learn in life that I had to learn for Lisa, it doesn't all look the same every time it shows up.
Mm-mm.
So if it didn't look the same, I sort of feared away and shied away from it. But when I walked into the arms of Master Force, I was willing to see every corner because I wanted to see everything about me.
Wow.
Oh.
That's beautiful, Lisa.
And so, man, I am so thankful I found you all. Or shall I?
We're finding our soul tribe. You know
Yes.
what I'm saying? I mean, I just love Facebook for that reason. I say I don't know what they decided to create this, instrument for, but we're going to use it to find each other and love each other and nurture each other. And it's been just awesome. So what you're speaking of is just so true. Many of us feel that way. You're just articulating it in a way that an extrovert would.
Okay.
I'm a little more introvert, so I just feel it.
Okay.
But let me discuss something technical for a minute. So the light that's going off and on, is that something that you need to take a couple of minutes to adjust so that can you
Candle. You want
huh?
me to put it out?
I don't want it to blow out, but I don't want you to be concerned about it.
No, I'm good.
You good? Okay, good. Okay. So now tonight's topic, we're talking about mirror work.
Yes.
Now, when you were going through the course with mirror work, was that one of the topics that challenged you the most? Or because I'm like, she jumped at mirror work to do mirror work. Everybody don't take on mirror work, right? Yeah.
There's a story behind that, and I'm willing to share. Uh,
Okay.
when I was a preteen, about the age of 12, I looked at myself the first time in the mirror, and I was having a just casual, normal day. But this particular day, I looked in the mirror, and something just told me to keep looking. And the more I gazed, the more I looked into my eyes, I felt as though I saw this disfigured being standing before me,
Mm.
terrorized me. I could move, but I had to get to the point of, is this real? Is this in my mind? Is this what people see when they see me?
Mm.
So it scared me, and yet it saddened me because I felt, my God, I am a monster within and I don't know it. So over the years of me being that preteen to, but prior to me becoming a mother, I occasionally went into the mirror to see if that monster had gone.
Wow.
And for years it didn't. So I became a very introverted person. I didn't speak much
Mm.
because what I thought I was seeing is what people were seeing. So I didn't want to make myself known. I didn't want people to see me as a monster. I didn't want people to see me as being disfigured. But when, fast forward to this part of my life, meeting you all and doing mirror work, I went back into that moment in my life and I said, okay, now I know there's a lesson here. So I had to begin by revisiting that moment and looking at the horrible figure and wondering, where did you come from? Why are you here? And as I began to ask myself a series of questions of, is this what you were saying I look like? Is this the way I felt about myself? And the truth was, yes, I felt disfigured.
Wow.
I felt odd, as though I didn't fit in. I felt as though I was a mistake. I really did. And that wasn't because of my facial expressions. It was because of the different things that I was going through from my childhood up into my adulthood. And, it ranged from being my skin tone, pigmentation, being a darker skin toned woman, girl at the time. It came from me having a deeper voice versus women of my family having higher tones. It came
Wow.
from me being tallest of my sisters. It was like everything about me was different, and I couldn't understand why. Why am I so different? So
Mm-hmm.
maybe my creation, my coming together into this human form was somewhat disfigured, even though I thought at the time I was normal. But when I looked at myself in the mirror, I I said, well, maybe all these years, the thing that I feared was true. I am different. I am odd. I am disfigured. I don't behave like my siblings. Many of people would ask me as I was growing up, were you adopted? And at first I just couldn't rationalize, why would you ask me that? And yet they're telling you I'm their sister. So it was a range of different things that made me want to get to the bottom of that fear, to get to the bottom of that, what I call disfigured person, to get to the bottom of that person that didn't fit in.
Mm.
I realized doing the mirror work helped me to realize I was not meant to be the twin of anyone. I was not meant to be a duplicate of anyone else. I am an original. I have the eyes that I have, the nose, the mouth, and everything else, but more deeper, the soul within me
Mm.
was created uniquely for me.
Yes.
I'm not supposed to be anyone's duplicate. So
Mm-hmm.
doing the mirror work was my official beginning of my journey of truly knowing how to love me
Yeah.
from the inside out.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that's why I jumped on it so quickly, because it's like, that was my favorite subject. Because I
Yes.
use it today. I use it not only for my own personal growth of developing myself, but I use it for business, for clients, for relationships. I use it for everything because looking at who I am presently, right now,
Mm-hmm.
knowing that this can change,
Oh,
that,
your camera went away.
okay, I'm coming back.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
knowing that,
That's
that
okay.
everything is going to work out purposely for my good made me more determined.
Yeah.
So there was a journey within the journey, because although I was preparing to help people for this becoming a life coach, the journey that I didn't realize I would participate in is becoming a life coach for me first. I didn't realize I could be my own coach.
Yeah,
And
that's very powerful, Lisa, because most of us think that in order to be important, what we need to do is be important to other people, like have other people look up to us, admire us because of what we do for them. But
right,
even after we exhaust ourselves taking care of people, if we have not did anything to honor and value the worth that we are to ourselves, it feels empty,
it
right?
does.
Yeah,
And
that's why so many people complain about, why am I so tired? Why am I so this?
yeah,
And because you haven't given to yourself.
exactly. And, it took a while for me to even accept that I could give to myself, because I've been told you're supposed to keep giving, give out, give out. I was told so much to be a giver. I didn't even know how to receive. I honestly did.
Yes.
I felt so guilty when people gave to me. It's like, no, I'm
Yes.
good. I'll take
Yes.
care of me. But as soon as I got something extra, I gave it away, because
Yeah.
I'm supposed to be that giver. And you are.
Mm-hmm.
I was so empty and tired and drained. And
Yeah.
I was, I'm amazed that I didn't go through more of an emotional challenge, because I was constantly giving. I didn't know how to love, Lisa. I didn't know how to even relax sometimes. It was like, okay, I went from being a daughter to a mother, a wife,
Mm-hmm.
and now I'm helping everyone at the job. I didn't even know, I knew I existed, but my purpose was for everyone else and not for me. So Master Force
Wow.
gave me back to me.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's beautiful. That's absolutely beautiful. One of the things that I want you to go a little bit deeper into um, is you said that you saw when you were in your preteens and you saw this monster, and
Yes.
then you revisited that time period and you saw that there were things in your life that made you look like you were. How did you actually transform that conversation? Do you remember going through
Well,
the word?
I started by looking at myself and asking myself, what would make me a monster to someone?
Mm,
Make me a monster to me. What will I consider to be a monster? And a monster to me is something, or, well, something that intentionally goes out to hurt another person.
mm,
And to me, again, I just went through a little list of what a monster was. A monster is someone who's out to hurt you, terrorize you, bring fear if you don't have it present. So it was all
mhm,
these things to make you not comfortable where you were.
mm,
And so as I addressed those issues, I said, well, where am I? Where do I feel I'm terrorizing myself? And the answer I came to understand is because you're not loving yourself. Everything I
wow.
did, I judged. Every word I said, I judged. Every
Mhm,
action taken, I judged. I was the
mhm,
worst of all enemies to myself.
mhm,
I didn't think I was worthy. I didn't feel as though I was adequate. I didn't feel as though I had enough knowledge. I didn't feel as though I was prepared. It was a matter of someone else can do it better. So why am I trying to do it? Although
wow.
people compliment me, I still saw the monster. I didn't see who they were complimenting. I didn't see the Lisa I see today. I didn't.
Mm,
And that let me know also I was not empowered to be me. I was not loving towards me.
mm,
And it to me it was really important, because not only being a daughter, a mother, a wife, I was loving towards others, but I was so empty inside.
mhm,
I had to learn, what does it mean to love yourself? It's more than just going to get a manicure, pedicure, more than getting a makeover, your hair done. What is it that I need to do to learn to love me? And I realized you got to spend time with yourself first. You have to learn who you are. And
You
I
have to
said
know. You have to know yourself. You don't even know
that,
yourself, right?
and
What's
I,
the love? You got to know what there is to love.
yes, yes, ma'am. I had to accept my darkness just
Mm,
as I accepted my light. And
Mm-hmm.
I tell you, darkness is not the same for me. I have so much
Mm-hmm.
joy sitting in my room at night. And I try not to be loud because sometimes I'm just overwhelmed with so much joy that I laugh.
Mm-hmm.
I think about how I behave differently, how I think differently, and
Mm-hmm.
how I feel differently now that I know I can love me unconditionally.
Mm-hmm.
When I make mistakes, I still love me. When I do
Yeah.
the right thing, I still love me.
Mm-hmm.
When I choose to say no, I still love me.
Mm-hmm.
And for years, I couldn't say no to people. It was like, I'm supposed to, so I will. But it's okay to say no because I love me enough to keep me energized, to do the things that I want to do, to go exploring life the way I've always wanted to. And I have learned, I have learned the power of love for me. And
Mm.
it's wonderful. It is so beautiful. And I'm just so thankful. Oh my goodness. Master Force has done so much for my life.
I know we can do it with
Yeah.
it, right? Well, I want you to really get though
Mm-hmm.
the person that you had to be to take this on. You see
Yes.
that?
Yes.
Because Master Force is out there for a whole lot of people, but they don't step into that, and then they don't even step into it that at the point that they get what you get. You,
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly.
right. Everybody might get something, but when you're ready and you're really empowered to have your life become, like real, if
Yes.
nothing else, like just real,
Yes.
then you get to be fulfilled at the end of the program. And that's what we're experiencing with you. We're experiencing that wholeness, that fulfillment. So the mirror work that we actually go through in the course is to have people get present to their greatness.
Yes. And that have I've been exposed to it and I am thankful. You know, I have learned to appreciate when I see the reflection of myself and others.
Mm-hmm.
Always easy. That's
Yeah.
because I've seen my reflection in people who irritate me, people who
Yes.
purposely aggravate me. It's like, but I see me.
Now say more about that, because now that's a different level of the mirror work, the
Yeah,
reflection. So
yeah,
go into that part now, because you've talked about when you see yourself and you look there in the
yeah,
mirror itself, right? Where's your mirror? So when you're looking in your mirror, look in your mirror. Where's your mirror? Right? So when you look in your mirror, right? That's you looking at yourself. But
yes,
now you just said that you can see your reflection in other people.
yes, ma'am.
Okay, now talk about that level of the mirror work.
Okay, so um, I had to go back into a lot of my past because there was still some reflection showing up. They may not
Mm-hmm.
have physically been present, but they were emotionally present with me. So, growing up um, as the youngest daughter of six children, my reflection of how I saw myself came through the eyes of everyone else around me, my parents, my siblings, my grandparents, those people around me. I felt what I saw in them is who I was. So my
Mm-hmm.
mother, um, she was not necessarily an introvert, but she kept a lot of her emotions inside. And it was to the point of it had to be a special occasion for you to receive that hug and I love you versus it just
Oh, wow.
a situation. My father, even on special occasions, he would just say, I'm proud of you and keep moving. So it was like, okay. So the nurturing and the love was given, but it was sort of not close up and intimate. It was, you're in my presence, and that's when we talk. And with my siblings, everyone was sort of a version of my parents to me. My oldest sister was like my mother because although she was not that person who was touchy, but she would let you know how proud she was, like at my eighth grade graduation or when I graduated from high school. And they all assumed one thing about my family, they all assumed that you knew you loved, they knew that you knew that you loved because you're family. So
Yes.
you're part of the family, you know I love you. But I didn't say it unless there was a special reason to say it.
Wow.
So love for me was not something you did on a daily basis.
Mm.
That was just occasions. And, you know, it's not that I didn't feel love necessarily, but it's just like I didn't understand why wasn't it daily? Why didn't you hug us daily? Why didn't you tell us you love us daily? But
Mm-hmm.
that reflected on to the level of communication. My father was the type of person every Friday night, we've gone through the whole week. So Friday night after school, after dinner, let's talk. And he was more of a talker than a listener. So I didn't feel I had anything to say because at this point, um, you're basically just telling me to just listen and we go from there. And so I became that listener of what everyone wanted to say about me, and I take it in. The terrible thing was I took in so much, I didn't know when to release.
Mm.
And it actually started affecting my body. I had
Yes.
a I had a inward sore in the top of my stomach that I didn't know was occurring. I just thought it was like a little hair bump for me, and it
Mm.
just began. And one day I noticed it got hard as I was taking a shower, and I told my mother. And when we went to the doctor just to make sure all was well, he said, I need to talk to your daughter alone. And when we were talking alone, he asked me, what are you afraid of?
Mm.
Mm, nothing. You know, I can't
Because
say
how
it's
old were you? How old were you at that age when that happened?
I, uh, I was 10 at that time.
At 10. Right. And he will, yeah, I don't know if I can tell you, even if I could
Exactly.
voice.
Yes. So you're a stranger, you're a doctor, but you're a stranger.
Yes.
And
Right.
no one overrides the parents. So,
No. And if
um,
and then our parents say, don't tell anybody our business,
exactly,
you
exactly.
know?
And my parent definitely did that. She made certain that no matter what goes on, you don't tell anybody. You only
Right.
with me and your dad. And I said, okay. And I left that to be law. But not realizing all that I was taking in was causing a sore within me, like an ulcer.
Yes.
The first time I noticed that my body was responding to the stressors that I was taking in. I didn't have a voice. I
Mm-mm.
didn't know who I was. So it was it was just a situation where I felt there was no outlet. And it wasn't until I turned 11 that I actually started having moments of blackouts. And I would just pass out. I had no idea why. I just felt lightheaded and bloop, I was out. Not realizing that my blood pressure was going up and down, not
Wow.
realizing that my appetite had gone so to the point that I could go days without food and not care.
Mm.
And I think I was shutting down
Mm.
because I didn't have a way of letting go. And because I had no other way of escape, I just began to cry. And through
Which
the
is good.
tears,
Which is good.
yeah,
That's a
yeah,
release.
it is. It is. It was a great release, but it was
Mm-hmm.
on continuously. And because I didn't have a voice, I didn't feel I could tell anyone. Because I didn't
Right.
have a voice, I didn't feel that no one would really listen, even if I did.
Mm.
And so, learning that I was seeing this reflected from my siblings and from my parents, I began the journey unexpectedly, being around the elders of my family and learning the challenges my parents were going through as children, as young adults, and now their parents. And that, for some reason, brought some light to me. It's like, oh, you behave like this because you didn't have a voice as a child.
Mm-hmm.
That because you couldn't tell your mother anything. So it's like, oh, this is repetitive.
Right.
So, doing the work in Masterforce helped me to go back and talk to my mom, talk to my dad, and actually have a conversation and letting them know that, I may not have understood everything, I may not have agreed with everything, but everything served a purpose. And when I told my mom that I had become a life coach, she
Mm.
cried. She
What?
cried with some, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, you actually found a way out." I said, "No, I found a way in."
Right, exactly. Yes, deeper into myself.
Yes. So
Wow.
the reflection that I was seeing for years, I thought this is working against me. I can't talk, but not realizing this helped me to talk. This helped me to open my mouth and
Mm.
not just communicate, but speak life. And no,
Mm-hmm.
I have the ability to do that. I have the ability to speak positive, not only affirmations, but words, love, joy, and
Mm-hmm.
peacefully talk to others.
Mm.
And, I started doing other things to learn about me because those reflections are what took me further in regards to the things I've dealt with in my past, sexual abuse that I faced, physical abuse that I faced. Years ago, you couldn't have told me that these things would serve a purpose for me, but today I know they did. They helped me to see how abusive I was to myself and how I allowed
Yes.
someone else to come in and do the same
Yes.
that I was doing to myself.
Mm.
And, how do you tell someone else that I'm abusing me? They'll look at you like crazy. How do you abuse yourself? Very easily by denying yourself the opportunity to grow,
Yes.
by allowing yourself to be honest with yourself. And that was the challenge. I had to be honest with me about me. It wasn't about my ex-husband. It wasn't about the guy that raped me. It wasn't about any of them. It was all about me. And coming to overstanding that, I love that word, overstanding
Yes.
that I had opened myself to others doing what I privately was doing,
Mm.
helped me to not only privately heal, but publicly heal. Because I don't have to walk around with my head held down, with my heart filled with burden of pain, now to have a genuine smile, not only on my face, but in my heart. Because I went into the dark side of Lisa.
You know,
Every week.
Lisa, I gotta interrupt you in this conversation, because what you just said is so powerful. And I want to acknowledge you. I want to acknowledge you for simplifying, just simplifying the whole conversation around rape and abuse of women, because this is where we are in society now, of letting go of that burden, right, of other people doing things to us. But
Yes.
you said I got that I was abusing myself. And so it doesn't matter what kind of abuse you're doing to yourself, it still sends out a frequency, it sends out an energy.
Yes.
You know, I remember that experience that I had walking, where was I? Hiking. I was hiking the Andes Mountains. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden I realized that I didn't know that I was precious. I had never known that I was precious, right?
Yes.
And I realized that I needed to come home and get rid of everything that was unlike love. And it dawned on me that being a workaholic was a form of abuse.
Yes.
Now, the reason that was so strange to me is because all we're told is work hard, work hard, work hard, work hard, right?
Yes.
To get your reward in life, to get whatever, after death, whatever you're going to work hard for. But now, right, what you're saying is, because I was putting all of that stress and strain on myself, and you were putting all of that on yourself, and you know, people use the term self-hate so lightly, but it's deeper than that.
It is.
It's much deeper than that. And you spoke about it earlier when you said, you know, I didn't know myself. I didn't even like being with myself.
Exactly.
You know, so, you know, I just want to acknowledge you for simplifying that when I start loving and taking care of myself, first of all, I don't put myself in any situation that would be compromising, because I understand how precious I am, the worth that I am. Yes. So, you know, you're just amazing. You just, I never thought that would be hit on tonight. You know, I was expecting it in other conversations this week, but thank you. That's powerful.
You know, the wonderful thing about it is it allowed me to be empowered so that I would not be with a victim mentality.
Yes.
Because I got tired of pointing the finger at everyone else. And if I made up my mind, I chose to say this out loud to myself. Mm-hmm. If you're going to try to empower someone else, you have to start with you.
Yes.
In order for me to empower myself, I have to be honest with myself. That's not easy. It was challenging me to the point of, man, I was really living like this. I believed that this man was the monster, when in actuality, I drew him to me. Believe it or not, I had to thank him, although I've never seen him ever again. But in my own way, I told him, thank you, because you helped remove the monster in me. He helped me to put the monster in me to death. Because the abuse that I was at one point crying about, from being a part of that moment with him, I realized I was still being abusive to me, even after he was long gone.
Wow.
And the fact was, if the abuse was before him and after him, who was really the real monster here?
Where's the common denominator there?
Exactly.
Hello,
Exactly.
teach.
And I'm
Although
the
I said we
was there in the beginning and after. So I compared
wow.
myself. And I looked at myself because I said, if you can't be honest with anyone else, I mean, if I couldn't be honest with me, how can I honestly be honest with someone else? I mean, truth.
Mm-hmm.
How can I expect my being to open up in a miraculous, powerful way to other people if I'm not willing to do it for myself?
Wow.
And doing that work, I noticed the changing of people that I started drawing to me.
Mm.
And it was amazing to experience hearing a male speaking gentle to me, respectfully, articulating himself in a manner that I didn't feel denied, or even to the point of, my goodness, I felt like I actually connected with the opposite sex for the first time on a healthy.
Right.
I did, because it wasn't sexually related. It wasn't um, out of hate. It wasn't out of anger. You know, growing up believing that I was this monster, I felt like I had to defend myself with everything, with everyone,
Mm.
and with the males, because my father showed me you don't listen. So I had to be heard,
Mm.
but not realizing it wasn't my voice that I needed to hear from them. I needed to hear it for myself.
Wow.
And, you know, in this short period of time, because this started in March for me and we're now in December, and I say a short period of time because I'm almost 50. And for this short period of time of doing the work with Master Force, it's like the previous 49 years have changed in my mind. Not that they didn't do what they did, but I have a different respect and appreciation for them. I
Mm.
can see how my behavior, how my attitude, how my mindset has kept me from where I wanted to be in life, how I have allowed myself to be denied certain things, how I have kept myself from being truly able to receive love from another. And the fact that I was willing and able to just take that first step and look within myself and say, it's time. Now is the
Mm-hmm.
time. No matter what challenge I will face as I'm doing the work, but I knew this was my time. And that I am completely appreciative and grateful for, because there was no other season in life, there was no other day greater or better. When I saw that opportunity to sign up, I took it as though it was the last flight out. And sure, I had my passengers, my seats and everything prepared, because I became ready to do the work. And
Lisa, who was your? Because I'm just who was your buddy? It was the other Lisa, right?
yes,
And then
well,
who was your? Huh?
no, go ahead.
And then who was Lisa your buddy?
Yes, she was.
And then who was your mentor?
It was Isha, and she
Mm-hmm. Ethan. Oh,
person
right. Okay.
early.
It's so exciting because as you speak, sometimes we just do the work and we forget the difference that we're making out here with different people, right? You know what I'm saying? And as you're speaking, I can hear a whole nother platform taking place. And I think it's because you actually do work with women and
Yes.
children. Yeah. So, I can hear the need. One of the reasons that I don't speak to women at women's shelters, because I don't take the victim approach either,
Yes.
as to what people are calling abuse or whatever. It's like full responsibility for myself and what
Yes.
I attract,
Yes.
right? Is
Yes.
was true.
Yes.
So I just want you to know we want to revisit that, because that's a platform that you're speaking to right now
Yes.
that, yeah, that's real for us to create. So the other thing that I want you to go a little bit deeper into is the reflection, like the reflections that you see now
Okay.
actually are reflecting what you're saying is going on inside of you. So what are some of the other, because I love that you said this man, you've been around men all your life, and you finally,
Yes.
meeting yourself, right?
Yes.
We get to meet ourselves.
Yes. Yes. Um, the reflections I'm seeing now, man, you talk about meeting some awesome people. I am meeting people um, who have what I would consider a heart for the world. There is
Mm.
no condition limiting them to whatever they choose to do. I work with I work with a group of people who are actually from all over the world. I mean, there is no one, everyone is just American. No, I work with people from Russia, from Poland, Turkey, I mean, everywhere. And when we have meetings, because I have to conduct meetings weekly with the recruiters that are under me, um, their feedback gets me to really think. Because there's one particular guy, he's from Poland, and he tells me in his own way, "You are a bright light, and I needed to see you today."
Wow.
And I looked at him and I laughed. And I laughed because I appreciated the comment, but I said, my God, if he had known me 10 years ago, probably wondered, do you know there's light out there? But, and there's this other young lady, and she, although I don't talk about my children, I do let people know I'm a mother. Um,
Mhm.
she has constantly told me, you have such a patience for people. I know your children really appreciate that about you. And I said, well, as time has grown, as I've grown in time, I have learned how to be more patient. And, people have reflected back to me what they see in me, but in actuality, I see that in them. I see the
Mhm.
I see the optimistic conversations, the positive words. I see the people who are focused, energized. They're, oh my gosh, they are eager not only to get the tasks done, but to see it from the beginning to the end. That we go out and we recruit people. I do the interviews, and my team has gone above and beyond. That when they get new employees to work beside them, they literally take them by the hand. They don't do the work, but what they do is, here are the tools. This is how you do it. Let's get it done. And
Wow.
so I was like, wow, am I doing that? And my one of the managers, she came to me the other day and she's like, you know what? I wish you would just, plant your feet right here with us and don't go anywhere. And I said, well,
Wow.
you know, it's winter up here. I got to go where it's warm. But I said, you have me until next August. But, you know, the fact that people have come forward, not just in a complimentary manner, but have shared with me the very things that I felt were tools to give to them. Because one thing I've learned in human resources when you were doing recruiting, don't hold person's hands to the point that they are dependent upon you. Let their personality spark out. Let them be able to share their own experience, because my experience is not going to be the same as theirs. So with this
Right.
particular group, I started off with 9. I've grown to 12, and the numbers are still growing. And you know, at one point, I was thinking, man, the group is getting larger. What do I do? But I realized, keep going the way that you're going, staying focused, giving them outlines of what needs to be done, not doing the work for them, and giving them all the materials that they need to go out
Mm-hmm.
and get the job done. And I have people who literally travel from Chicago all the way to Wisconsin, McHenry County, all of Lake County, and they do it without me being there. And the fact that I don't constantly call, that I don't constantly say, hey, did you do? I have the deadlines of when things are to be done, and they're aware of them. And I
So it
actually,
sounds like you spark team, you spark commitment,
yes,
you spark a personal sense of integrity, so that
yes.
people own their, that is beautiful.
And I'm learning more about integrity, more, and
Mm-hmm.
how much I appreciate that. And that teamwork, that was something also I had to grow into, because
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to be that light. I wanted to be that star. I wanted to be that one everyone went to, not realizing that's just ego having a wonderful day. You know, that's ego
Yeah.
very high, and I don't need that type of high.
Yeah.
I decided, working as a team for me, although I'm the leader, but having everyone else in mind of how we are to accomplish things, have helped me to see things in a better perspective. Because when
Mm-hmm.
you're trying to just be that star, you only see it through narrow visions. And being able to see it from their perspective as well as from the company as a whole, I've been able to broaden my view of how things are to be done. So teamwork has been a new birth for me. And I'm so thankful for it, because it's allowing me to grow. And
Yeah, that, it's so interesting that you say that, because the when we put in the buddy system
yes,
into Master Force, some people, that's the wax on, wax off part. So we don't tell you that this is to help you to create a sense of compassion for somebody else winning, but
mm-hmm,
you get to see that for yourself and you get to experience what that is. But a
mm-hmm,
lot of times people don't have a breakthrough there, because again, they have to be number one. And
yeah,
that's the challenge. And especially for us coming into this, uh, the divine feminine energy that's coming up for all of us. The divine feminine is inclusive.
mm-hmm,
Everybody participates.
yes,
Everybody learns together. Everybody wins. And, if you're not interested in everybody winning, then that means that you're still attached to what you're saying, your ego. And again, we're not getting rid of the ego, but that
right,
means there's an imbalance there. And so I love you said there's a narrow view.
yes,
Yeah. And so you don't get to include everybody else because you have to be the star.
right.
Yeah. And that's a challenge. That's a huge challenge for people. Yeah.
And the diversity that you learn from being a part of the group helps not only with learning from other people, but learning for yourself. Why am I only seeing this part versus seeing the others? Why am I not getting what they're saying? And that was a challenge for me. And I appreciate that challenge, because again, it awakened me. It helped me to grow. It allowed me to broaden my vision
Yeah.
and my view of things.
Yeah.
And the fact that my group is already diverse in culture, it was really beneficial for me to participate.
So
And
let me ask you this: if you were supporting someone and understanding how to use the mirror work to transcend racism in their life, I hope that's not putting you too much on the spot, but but what would you say to them? What would be available for them in some of the transformative work that you've done?
well, I actually had a situation like that just recently
Mm,
where we had an African American young lady verbally attack um, a Polish gentleman because of his accent.
mm,
And because she did it publicly, I had to deal with it publicly. And so I expressed the first thing was before you deny him the opportunity to work with us because he's different, can you, in your own way, see what it is about him that's similar to you? And she stepped back and she said, "There's nothing similar." I said, "Yes, we are similar. First and foremost, we're both working for the same company. You both are. It doesn't have to always be a personal attachment because I noticed her comment was about um, the way that he would speak words. He couldn't communicate, she felt clear enough for the people we would have to go and communicate with, but others never had a problem. The thing was, she wanted to be the star pupil.
mm,
So I had to embrace her to know that, you know, just as you were chosen to do this and he was chosen, you both have great qualities that the team needs. But we
mhm,
work together, not pointing out our differences, but I challenge you to point out your similarities so that we can work together and broaden our understanding of what we need to do out there in the public's eye. So I didn't want to take it as a defense or offense. I wanted to stay neutral ground to help her realize and him this isn't about who's right. This isn't about who's wrong. This is about us seeing we need to do this together. We have an ability to see ourselves in each other. And the fact is, how you're seeing me is truly how you're seeing yourself.
mm.
So I expressed to her, even when you have bad days, if you need to come and talk to me about it, please do it privately. But don't take it out on another person because him communicating with an accent does not make him less than or greater than. He's just different. My conversation is different from everyone else's in the room. It's not,
Mhm.
I'm trying to be better or less than. I'm just who I am. And we have to have an understanding that people that we bring into this company will be different from us as well. It's not just a tolerance I wanted to develop, but an awareness, an awakening, an awakening to her to realize you're having a bad moment and it doesn't allow you the opportunity to take it out on someone else because of something so minute as a communication difference that was
Now,
not okay.
how did she react to that? How did she respond?
Well, she responded much different than I thought. She says, I shouldn't have come to him in that manner. And she apologized. But I,
Oh, wow.
to the group, I said, I know we all have some challenging days. I know being in human resources is challenging. You deal with humans, and that's a challenge time. But always go first within yourself. See what's going on. Are you having a moment because someone gave you some bad news? Did you have a conversation before you came into the meeting with someone that may have stepped on your toes? Did you find
Mhm.
bad news from another source that you're really having a hard time dealing with. And, you know, my point was, if you're having a challenge, I will allow you to excuse yourself, go and relax, get yourself gathered. And I have talked to my group about breathing. Now that I have done, because I've been challenged in a meeting where I had to take a moment and said, okay, we're going to breathe now. and, and I did. And I asked everyone to relax, let everything out of your hands, and I walked them through breathing. I said, we're going
Wow.
to have a moment, because I don't want my stress taken out onto you all when we have an opportunity to be great. And I want this opportunity to not be lost. So we're going to let everything go. And I quieted everyone down, and I sat down and set everyone down. And we went through the breathing to center exercise.
That's powerful.
And, you know, they looked at me funny in the beginning, but when we were breathing for about 5 minutes, I said, how are you all feeling? Man, I had no idea I was stressed.
Exactly.
All that
Yes.
it was being released. And I said, I'm not asking you all to do this as a part of your job, but it works. Sometimes you just need to just breathe. You need to be
Mm,
present to where you're at. We have too many things in life that will cause distractions. So when we are being
yeah.
distracted, take that moment, get off that phone, get away from that computer, and just find yourself a quiet place and breathe. And it's
Mm-hmm.
because they've been telling me when they go home, before they go into the grocery store, or doing some different things that they need to do personally, it has been helping them. And I mean, that was a treasure. Learning to breathe to center should be
Yeah.
universal required.
Yeah. Well, it is one of the actual pieces that we have as our mobile curriculum. Breathe to Center, MEPS, and MARV. You
Yeah.
know, we tell people, tell the coaches, everything else is under non-disclosure, but we want you to teach breathing everywhere, because that will save our children's lives.
Yes, it will. Yes, it will.
Especially our teenagers, when their hormones start acting all crazy. It cracks me up when people go, you're fast, or you're sassy, or you out. It's like, yeah, they don't know what they are. Their hormones is doing. They need help, So when you teach them to breathe, at least they can help to calm themselves down, because they have to get to know themselves now in a whole new different way,
Yes.
So yeah, breathing is important for
Yes,
everybody.
yes, ma'am.
Hmm. I'm glad you're doing that. That is beautiful. What else were you getting ready to say?
No, I was going to say I actually did it with some of the managers also, because we
Mm.
had one of those financial meetings when they're telling you to shut down your finances. Don't spend, but you have to spend to get some things done. And before we went in there, I did the same process with these two ladies. I said, we have to be focused to hear as well as to be able to give our input. But right now we have this, I just felt like, there was some energy just ready to explode. It's like, no, they can't do this. And no, we need to, first of all, calm down and become
Hmm.
where we are. And, at first one did look at me like, Lisa, I'm not, I text you from religious. I,
Like, yeah, right. What is this?
I said, you don't have to chant, you don't have to sound anything. I just need you to breathe,
Hmm.
because right now you're so full of emotion that is not going to serve you well.
Mm.
I want you to be able to go into this meeting and at least be able to hear what's being said. Because one thing I've learned to do with the breathing to center, when I do it, it's not just to calm me, which it does, but I can hear clearer. I can focus on
what's the purpose of me being here?
Mm-hmm.
What am I being given at this moment? And it's more than just a conversation. So I want to receive everything that I'm being given. And sometimes I can receive it verbally, through body language, or both.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I want to be able to receive it openly, not judgmentally, openly. Because when you
Mm-hmm.
to judge, you've already closed the door.
Totally.
You've closed your mind. You've
Yeah.
already came up with a conclusion, and yet you don't
Mm-hmm.
know the facts.
Yeah.
So breathing to center has helped me to, okay, let's get all of that energy that's really creating blockades out of the way. I need to be
Wow.
able to flow in this conversation, and I need the conversation to be able to flow within me so that we can cooperate with one another and see how we can work this situation out. You know, it
Wow.
has benefited me because although upper management has said, you know, financially, we need to not, you know, make any more debts. But this was also the part of the season when I'm doing a lot of advertising. And this advertising brings in not only exposure to the public, but it's allowing me to gain access to do different projects out in the public in the different communities. So to close off my advertisement will close me off to a lot of other ventures. So
Mm.
I had to be able to articulate and show how giving me permission to maybe do minimal will still allow me to have access where I need to have access. So if I had not done the breathing to center, I could have gone in there just as easily and said, you know what, this isn't fair. I don't like this. Ask somebody else to do it and just shut down the whole situation. And no
Mm-hmm.
one would have won anything. I definitely wouldn't have. But being able to communicate, to hear them, and to be able to articulate so they can hear me, we came to an agreement. I'm not able to spend as I used to, but I'm still able to spend. And now I'm able to do it in a manner where I get more for less. Because, you know, when you go with the right, um, when you go in there with the right mind to, whether it's with the newspaper, the radio, or billboard companies, and let them know, you know, I'm willing to do a year's contract versus a 6 month. A year's contract is less than 6 months. So
Mm.
I was able to get longevity versus just a quick fix.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
it allowed me to come up with new ideas. It allowed me to embrace, let's see how we can make this work versus just either my way or the highway. No, that's not
That's
working.
powerful. So you get to demonstrate in so many of these processes leadership, you
Yes.
know, and getting other people to actually buy into it. You know,
Yes.
that's powerful.
Yes.
So let me ask you, you know, because we're moving into the end, the last quarter of our time together. What when people are looking to use the concept of mirror work,
Yes.
what would you tell them to do? What would be the practice of mirror work that they could take with them from tonight's conversation?
Um, well, my first practice and my continued practice is don't be afraid, first and foremost. Because when you recognize who you really are, that's not the time to become angry. That's not the time to become sad. And it's definitely not the time to become a victim in your own mind. Meaning, I would have done it if someone else didn't do this to me. This is an opportunity, if you use it continuously, to not only awaken yourself, to become alive within yourself, and to literally become reborn in yourself because
So
you're,
what if I look in this mirror and I don't like what I see?
but it's okay because you're now at a point in your life or you have the opportunity to see the good, the bad, and the, I don't want to say ugly only, but not so pleasant, but it's an opportunity to get to know who you are. Because until you see it, you can't change it. You can't change anything you're not aware of. And until you make acknowledgement that I have a poor demeanor or poor disposition about me, you will never fix it. You'll never change it. You will remain.
You know, that, yeah, I like to use that term. You know, when we were children and people used to call you names and you say it takes one to know one.
Yeah.
You know, that's right. That's a form of mirror work, because a lot of times if you see something in another person, it's either because, go ahead, what?
You see it in you.
It's there in you.
Yeah.
And either you are judging yourself or you're suppressing it to the point that you won't see it in you. But clearly, if you're pointing to another person about it, that means stop pointing and look at yourself.
Yes.
And that's the hard part, because now, and the first thing people say, no, that's not me. But listen, if you see it in another person, it is you.
Exactly.
If you call another person ugly, it's because you think you're ugly.
Exactly.
Otherwise, you wouldn't see ugly in anybody else.
Exactly.
It wouldn't even be there, right? So it gives people the opportunity to be responsible.
Yes.
Go ahead, Lisa.
I was just going to say something right there. About that too, just like you can say you see ugly in a person, imagine doing the work, you can see beauty in another person, which means you can see beauty in you.
Yes.
Everything you're able to see in others, you should be able to see in yourself, because your whole vision will change because you get to know who you are. It has nothing to do with the other people. It's all about you, because your perception comes from you.
And it takes courage to actually be willing to see your reflection in another person.
It does.
And then when you do have the courage to see yourself and others, you develop compassion. You develop the connection. You're no longer separated from them. You can see. I mean, that's what gives us such a way with young people, with children, because with them, we get to remember what it was like when we were that young. You know, people can tell my kids this. I say, what were you like? And as soon as you can touch that place in yourself, you immediately want to make sure that children are taken care of, or young people are taken care of, you know? But it takes courage.
It does. And the beautiful thing is, if you don't have it in the beginning, you could develop it. That's the one thing I love about this work also, because some things I didn't have in me. Boldness, courageousness, honesty. I ran from all of that. I learned it, and I appreciate it now.
Wow. That's very powerful. Yeah. And that's part of the self-cultivation. You know, I love how Tammy talks about the self-mastery. That's what this work opens the door. It's not, our work is not self-mastery. Our work is really healing. We get you to the wholeness of who you are. But the self-mastery comes when you continue to use the tools. You know, the thing that I see in a lot of life coaches is they tend to want to do the way pastors do. You know, I'm over here, I've gotten to this point, give me my kudos, right? And then I'm going to judge you and tell you what to do from here. And we're saying, no, you don't do that in this work. We're still growing and expanding.
Exactly.
You know, and I get to see the work that I need to do by looking at you.
Exactly. And the wonderful thing about this work, it is continual. So I don't have to gain a degree in it and say, I'm finished. No, I do it till the day I release and go abound. You know, the wonderful thing is, what I don't know now, as I continue the work, I'm learning.
Mm.
As you say so beautifully, we are ascending, and
That's
that empowers me daily. It truly does. You know, even if it's something minute to others, the fact is,
mm.
yesterday I didn't know it existed in me. Today I do.
Mm-hmm.
That's powerful for me. You know, I
Wow.
may not have been there last week, but today I'm here. And
Mm-hmm.
you know, tomorrow I want to go to another journey of higher me. And the fact that there is no end, there is no limit,
Mm-hmm.
there isn't anything unless I choose to say,
Mm-hmm.
I keep
Wow.
doing the work. I
Mm-hmm.
keep enjoying the journey. I can continue to allow my reflection as well as my mirror continue to show me and help me to grow me.
Mm.
And I'm just so excited about that. I really am. Because at one point in my life, I thought this was it. There's nowhere else
Mm.
to go. But I'm glad today I learned that was a lie. There is more for me
Wow.
to learn.
You, oh my God, I'm so inspired by you tonight. I'm just so inspired. I was so concerned, I'm always concerned with the newbies, but by you being by yourself tonight and,
Yeah.
all the other technical things we had to deal with. But I just want you to know that it has been a great honor and privilege speaking with you tonight. And I've learned to just let things go and let them be as they are instead of try to perfect things, and just be. And you really have just exuded this this generous speaking and this joy of Master Force that just, has me so full tonight. I'm just so grateful. And
Glad I
then go ahead. Go ahead.
did. Did you hear me?
No, say it again. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
I said I'm thankful that I'm able to give back what you've given
Oh.
me.
Oh, thank you. Yes, yes, yes. Now, I'm not sure, do you have an offering? Do you have any special courses or anything that you want people to know about?
I'm developing new courses. Uh,
Okay,
but right now, people can reach out to me via Facebook and Instagram.
okay,
And the name is Lisa Love on
okay,
Facebook, and it's Love Lisa on Instagram.
okay. And we'll actually post that in the group. And then, are there any last words, anything that you just want to say, have to say before we sign off tonight?
What I would say to anyone who's just learning about mirror work, I would encourage them to not be afraid, to take this first step of love for you, because no one else can love you like you can. So be willing, no matter how fearful or how um, painstakingly it can be, know within yourself that you are worth doing the work, and
Yeah.
continue doing the work no matter how long it takes you. Be encouraged and know that you are worth loving no matter what.
Hmm. That's a t-shirt. All
Okay.
right, Lisa, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for the listening audience. Again, we'll be back tomorrow night where we will be speaking with, oh God, Timothy and Jaquay Glenn from Tennessee. And we're going to talk about shadow work. So we're calling it shadow art because the art, I mean, Lisa was speaking, touching it tonight, using your darkness as a canvas to discover yourself. That's why we're calling it shadow art. So join us again tomorrow night with Timothy Jaquay Glenn from the Light Institute of Transformation and Empowerment out of Tennessee. And Lisa, once again, thank you. And I am so grateful that you made time for us today, and we will post the replay. So if you missed it, you'll get to see it.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Good night, everybody.